welcome to Does the Team Think? Hello, I'm Vic Reeves, the Netherlands' most unsavoury fudge salesman. And this is Does the Team Think, where I'm joined by 4 tearful and weepy friends who will attempt to push their melancholy to one side for a few angst-ridden moments and answer your trivial questions through a veil of tears, arguably, for your inconsiderate and self-absorbed whims. They may, on the other hand, simply spit in your eye and say, "To hell with hemorrhoids. I'm here to have a good time. Let the tournament begin." And so it shall, as I introduce Paul Whitehouse. The first thing that Paul does in the morning is put on his bejewelled stainless steel exoskeleton armour, mount his colossal brass clockwork elephant, light the candles behind its glowing ruby eyes, giving it the appearance of a beer moth from some infernal region. Then it's off to the paper shop and back home for a poached egg on crumpet. My next guest is Lucy Porter. Lucy Porter, her petticoats billowing in the light spring breeze like a painting by Monet. Her laughing almond eyes glistening in the sun, a complexion as radiant as a Flanders poppy bruised with kindness. She skipped and gambled into the theatre, promptly vomited into her bucket and took her position to my right. Lucy Porter. My third guest is Michael McIntyre. Michael reminds us somewhat of an aquatic merman king. His piscine features often sang about in troubadours' ballads. His shiny incandescent skin admired by sirens. His wonderful trilling call mesmerises all who hear it. And his blowhole regularly probed by scientists. And finally, my fourth guest is Andy Parsons. Andy has many talents, one of them being painting wonderful airbrushed pictures of Miss Marple. And the first question comes from down there, the lady with the crab McDougal. What's your name and what's your question?
My name's Hung, and my question is, has the team ever been in a situation where they've been left literally speechless?
Has the team ever been left literally speechless? Well, I've been left peachless when my peach supplier up sticks and cleared off out of town. What about you over there, Paul Whitehouse? Are you speechless, Paul? Michael, have you ever been left speechless?
Sometimes I'm speechless. I mean, I've always got things to say. Sometimes they don't always come out properly of your mouth, especially the first word of the day, when you haven't spoken yet
like
in a day.
Properly of your mouth.
Yeah, because this is the first time I've spoken up here, so it's a bit tense. But sometimes when you haven't spoken in the day and, like, the phone's not ringing, you're on your own, sometimes your brain's working, but your throat hasn't got involved yet, and occasionally the phone will ring, and the first word is just a disaster. It'll just pick up... Sorry, that's the first word of the day. I hadn't practiced yet. So sometimes, you know...
Do you forget how to speak overnight then, Michael?
Well, I don't know, but it just eases me into the day. Some people say they're speechless when they win awards. You've won awards.
Yeah, I have been speechless then, though.
But you can't be speechless because you've been nominated. The whole point is there's a chance of winning, you need to prepare a speech and have a speech, then they go up there, I'm speechless. Well, why the hell did you win this award? You shouldn't have been nominated.
Well, it's not...
And then they get out a piece of paper.
It wasn't
they go,
for
I'm
speaking.
speechless. And then they go, I'd like to thank... You're lying!
The reason they're speechless, though, is that
Here comes Andy Parsons with some comment.
My feeling about that is the reason I think people don't prepare a speech when they've got to accept an award is they think it's unlucky. they're worried that if they've prepared something, it's bound not to happen. So then they get the award, and then they make a tit of themselves because they haven't prepared a speech, and they never get an award again, although next time, ironically, they have prepared a speech.
That's the same theory of not bringing a on a date, isn't it?
I'm literally speechless. Lucy, you must have had experience in that quarter.
I'm speechless at your impudence, sir.
Yes, you're quite right to
kind
be.
of girl are you saying that I am?
That's very... I've rendered you speechless.
Well done. I suppose often when you say you're speechless, though, it's because the kind of speech that you would employ would be bad words and rudeness of, like, when you watching the Coke Zero adverts.
What's the Coke Zero ad, then?
It's finished now. It was just a load of men saying really ridiculous things about how horrible women are.
Walking along a road.
Yeah.
I agree. And there's that Zoo. Is that the magazine when they say, women, don't expect any help on a Tuesday, because that's when they're looking at other women's breasts.
Say boobs.
Boob? Can you say
Boobs
boob?
is
Boob's
nice.
my favourite word, by the way. Is it? Because it's the only word that looks like
Can
what
you
it
say
is.
it first thing in the morning?
If you look at the word boob with capital B's, basically what you got there is 3 sets of boobs. I went to an all-boys school, and that's all I had.
We'll move on to the next question, and it's from gentleman there preparing cocktails beneath his Macintosh.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
David, does the team think Elvis is still alive? And if so, why? And where is he?
Is Elvis still alive? And if so, why? Well, I believe... I've heard, it's only rumour,
Yes.
but I've heard that he runs a prosthetic limb shop in Lowestoft called Pelvisly Yours. But it's just rumour. It's just a rumour. Lucy, do you think Elvis lives?
No, I think he's completely dead. They've done an autopsy and everything, haven't they? So
Thank God.
No, I don't think he's dead in that he does live on in the Elvis impersonators. But I think the only other one is Jesus, because when I was little, we
He's
used
dead,
to have totally not coming back either. Sorry.
He's got a shop in Lowestoft.
But we used to have in our town, we used to have this bloke who walked around dressed as Jesus, like a sort of Jesus tribute act kind of thing. I thought every town had a Jesus, and it was only when I went to university that I said, because when you had the town Jesus. And everyone went, you're a
They basically said that, didn't they? One of the people who believe that he's still alive, their best reason for thinking that he's still alive is that his name is an anagram of lives. Now, that doesn't seem the cleverest bit of reasoning I've ever heard. It's also an anagram of Levi's. So he could be a pair of jeans. And I don't think he's working down a chip shop, which some people think he's working down. Because let's face it, the chip shop would have gone bankrupt. He'd have eaten the profits. It would no longer be worthwhile.
Michael, have you declared your position on this?
How did he die, Elvis? Just remind me.
I don't know.
on
a
the toilet.
hamburger out on a
It
toilet.
was a car crash, I think.
If he died on the loo, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
He was looking down the toilet.
If you fake your own death, you've got a lot of options. That's not what you'd go for.
Thank you for that comment, but I'm going to have to move on now. It's an email question from Don McLean, the singer of American Pie, and he lives in Halifax. And he says, does the team have an impression that they're willing to impart? Everybody's got an impression.
Yeah.
Paul, you do many impersonations.
I can do the impersonation of Don McLean.
Can you?
For I will not be part of your cocktail generation. He won't be part of your cocktail generation.
No, he quite
One of
won't.
his songs.
Do someone else.
No.
Do you Michael Caine?
My name is Michael Caine.
See?
But the thing is, as I get older, it actually sounds more like Dennis Norden. My name is Dennis Norden. Oh, I don't know.
No, that's
Bob
good.
Mortimer. Oh, Vic, how are you? All right, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
That just sounds like Paul. Michael.
Oh, yes, I do have an impression. It's a bit embarrassing, though. I don't know whether to do it or not.
Well,
That's the
please
point.
do. Yeah.
I just had to live through that.
Right.
Come on, it's your turn.
I can do Andy Parsons.
Hey. Who wants to hear that?
Look at Andy's face. He doesn't seem happy about the prospect.
I was wondering whether you were going to open your mouth and expect me to speak at the same time.
And that was it, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't want to embarrass myself by actually trying to do it. So I pretended that Andy was me, but actually I can do it.
OK, Andy, say those words.
Can I just do my impression of Michael McIntyre doing an impression of Andy Parsons?
Yeah, please.
No, I'm Michael McIntyre.
I'll do the impressions, you do the jokes about Elvis.
Brilliant, Lucy.
Aren't the audience at home going to be very
Oh,
confused?
good God, I didn't know who I was listening to then.
Fantastic.
I am currently doing an impression of Britney Spears.
The visual gag.
Ow. That's what you start. Everything she says starts off with ow.
I'm not really privy to the start of Britney Spears' conversations. But,
Well, the songs
Take your word for
generally
it.
the lyrics start off with ow.
well, Michael starts the day with that.
So, Lucy, have you got an impression?
I'll try something. Hang on.
Skippy.
No, I just thought it was a really disgusting noise to do on the radio. So that put people off their tea.
I thought it was going to be my cat. And that would have been uncanny, because you've never met my cat.
Come on then, Andy, what's yours?
I've just done mine, if you can remember that, Vic.
Oh, yeah, well, it was just you pretending to be Britney Spears, wasn't it?
What, did you want more than that?
Of course I wanted more than that. Every man wants more than that.
I'm not that vocally talented, Vic. Basically, the only accent I can do is a West Country accent, and the only way I can do that is by starting every sentence with, "All right, my lover."
Right, well, let's move on then.
It'd be great if Britney Spears started all her songs like that, wouldn't it?
All right, my lover. Wow. Question there from the woman down there giving birth to twiglets. What's your name? What's your question?
My name's Anna. Does the team think that if they were ever to have a job, would they survive? And if so, what job would they do?
Well, if you had to do a job, what would you do?
Proper job.
I actually went for a job as a keeper at London Zoo, and I turned up with a chair and a whip.
That's a tamer, surely.
Yes, I can do that for you. Paul, what about you? You must have been turned down from many a job.
No, I've always managed to work outside show business, and I still keep many jobs going at the moment.
See what you do at the moment. I can see you as a fishmonger.
Bit of cabbying, bit of fishmongering. I'll take anyone home tonight if they want. Double time and I don't go straight to the river, all right?
Michael.
Andy's radio work.
Do you think you could actually do it for me now, and I could off?
OK.
Have you ever had a job, Michael?
Yes. Well, I was thinking about, George, I would like to be a footballer, Vic.
Why?
Well, I'd just like to be the first posh footballer. I think there's a gap in the market. I just don't think you often... Has there ever been a posh footballer? I don't think... They said that Graham Lasso was posh.
Hang on a minute, you're considering yourself posh?
I would posh it up if I was a footballer. I'd just like to do the post-match interviews and put a little bit of more excitement into it. I'd love to just say, well, the ball's just coming to me, and luckily I just took a swing and it hit the back of the net, but I'm focused now on Bolton on Sunday.
Posh is posh.
And I believe we can catch them if we pull together as a team. I think it's marvellous the way we're doing the season. You know, Europe is still a possibility. Don't you agree, lads? Let's go for it. Rather than that, you know, the ball's coming to me, I got me head done it. Luckily, at the end of the day, it's just got... Everything happens at the end of the day for these people. I'd like to bring a bit of intellect to the game.
These people.
At the end of the day, I had breakfast. What the hell are you on about?
Lucy, what job would you do?
I think if you do work in showbiz, you have to have an exit strategy, and I've kind of thought about it, and what I'd really like is to have a little tea room in the Lake District, so it'd be quite busy like during the tourist season, but then out of season, what I'd do is get all the local old people, and they could sit in all day and just have a cup of tea, and I'd make them muffins for free. But then they could
Whoa, I'm back a bit there for free.
Yeah, well, yeah, but then, like, maybe there'd be an eccentric old millionairess who'd had free muffins, then she'd leave me all her money, and then I'd probably have a three-legged dog called Star and some kittens that I'd rescued from the lake when a bad man tried to drown them, and then... And then sometimes the milk would go missing from outside the cafe, right? And everyone would blame the local ruffian, little bad boy. But then I'd realise actually I'd work out the mystery that it was actually some foxes, right? And then but then the mum fox would die, and then the little foxes, the bad boy would bring up the little foxes, right? And then it would, through that, he wouldn't be a bad boy anymore, and he'd get like an MVQ in accountancy or something, and then he'd come and he could do like all the books for the tea shop, and then could have it off.
Andy, what about you?
Well, I'm hoping that I'll be okay, because I've got my own little test, Vic, as you can work out whether a job is a crap job or not, right? Basically, if your job has got an employee of the month, you've got a crap job. You've obviously got a worse job if your job's got an employee of the month and you've never won it.
I can remember a really funny job, which I can share because it's a comedy radio show. I was in Malta. I'm going to put me in the story. It's actually my mother. She was in Malta, and you remember the speaking clock? People used to depend on the speaking clock a lot for the time, not so much anymore. She phoned the Maltese speaking clock, and somebody picked up, "Hello?" And she was like, "Oh, sorry, I think I got the wrong number." And he went, No. Who you want?" And she went, "I was trying to get to the speaking clock." He said, "Yeah, it's 3:15. It was actually a guy, his job, he was employed to do the clock. What a great job that is. Just ringing and ringing and ringing. "Sorry, I was in the shower, 2:45. And is it a 24-hour thing? Does he get replaced at 6 o'clock? "You're late, I should know." That's got to be a bad job.
No, it's an interesting point, because how do they record that? Does somebody does somebody record
it's
it,
not
sit
live.
down? How
it's
does it
as live.
Yeah.
He's just trying to spin it out, isn't he? He's just trying to get you to spend a bit longer on the phone by giving you a bit of chat to begin with. He doesn't want to come straight out with 3:15. "Hello, how are you? What do you want?"
The next question comes from... It's the partisan there with the nitroglycerine.
My name is Roy. Does the team think that they could run a marathon?
Does the team think that they could run a marathon? Well, I inadvertently ran a marathon when I missed the National Express coach from Victoria to Bradford. And I'll tell you, running the A1 in high-heeled slimbacks is a killer. Lucy, you must know about this. Give me your opinion.
I reckon I probably could. If I set off now, then will you time me?
Time you? How long do you think it would take you? 27 miles is a marathon.
I think I'll probably run at about 30 miles
26 miles.
Yeah. So I'll be back in about a minute and a half.
Would you be timing with a Timex or an Accurist?
I think I could probably do it if it was involving the sort of Jade Goody training regime of just sort of eat loads of pies, do about 10 minutes and then go home.
No, somebody just points a finger and says, "Go there."
She got to about 18 miles. She didn't do any training. She got to 18 miles. She could have walked the... Not that I care what she did, really. But, you think she could have walked that bit. A bloke in the gym told me the other day, "It's nothing, Marcin. I do 100 kilometres.
Where's your gym?
Just the walk there.
He's a renegade Dutchman.
I've actually run a marathon.
Have you?
Yeah, I lost the tops of both of my nipples and both of my big toes. Not the actual toe, the actual nail on the toe. And so I always think that was probably nature telling me something, which was in the future, if I've ever got 26.2 miles to go anywhere, probably catch a bus.
Michael, what about you? You must have done a marathon by the state of you.
Yesterday. No, I don't run. I try to do everything. I think most British people avoid running as much as they can. Like if there's a bus and I need to catch it, I will try to time a fast walk in order to get on it without breaking into a run. If a car is about to hit me, I won't run for my life. I will try and just hurry up so it just misses me. So that I can...
Matador.
Yeah, so that's exactly what it's like. The only thing I can relate to in marathon running is the peeing in the street bit. That's the only thing I've actually got experience of. Once. Never again.
Openly or...
Peeing in the street. I was a terrible... I just really need... I don't know, have you ever peed in the street?
Yeah, of course I have, yeah.
Yeah, well, sorry. I gave you the opportunity of redemption.
Even I've peed in the street and I'm a girl.
Right. Yeah. Well, I had a real nightmare because I really was desperate and I pulled over the car and I just ran down what I thought was a fence. And I thought, if I can just do this on the fence... It was a residential area, but there was nobody around. Unfortunately, midstream, the fence opened and it was actually a door, and then there was a couple, a quite well-to-do couple.
The Queen and Philip.
Basically, I urinated on them, and I tried
you
to...
actually hit them?
I hit them.
Right.
And then I tried to apologise and flicked more at them because I went to shake their hands. And because he, instead of punching me in the face, which is, I think, what most people would do, he thought a bit, and he said, I said, look, I'm so sorry, I ran out of my car and I'm on the way somewhere and I didn't mean to and I thought it was just offence. And he was trying to work out how he can get back at me. and his solution was, he said, is that your car over there? I said, yes, it is. He said, right, I'm going to pee on your car. So we had to walk together to my vehicle. At which point he tried to urinate on my car.
He couldn't.
No.
And I was you watching, couldn't he?
I couldn't, and I was trying to play sort of music to help him along. I thought, if he can just do the pee, I can be on my way. Hurry up, man!
What sort of car was it?
It was a Polo. I was going to tell him another car. I thought that was my way out. I thought if I pointed to another vehicle, I could just run in the opposite direction, and then maybe he could get beaten by the person he was actually urinated on their car.
I thought he was going to insult your car. It's crap. Why would you go to shake his hand, and why on earth would you think he would want to shake your hand?
I'm going to be honest with you. I thought the only way to stop myself getting beaten up, if I tell him there was something wrong with me, I thought if he could maybe feel sorry for me, if I had some kind of ailment or something seriously wrong with me, and the only thing I could think of, I said, please don't hurt me, I'm dyslexic. It's the first thing that came into my head.
Thank you very much, Michael.
You're incontinent, actually.
And Paul, now we've got to move on to the next question, and the next question is from Brian Poole and the Tremolos. It's from Dorset, and they want to know, has the team ever had a disaster with a pet? I had a pet haddock once that would almost permanently wet itself. Although you couldn't tell, Michael, of course. I did actually have that belief. Just go with me on that one.
Lucy. Stuff in the water that highlights...
Well, all right, Michael.
No, I'm just saying about your haddock.
What?
Well, it wet itself in the water, but you couldn't tell because it was already in water. I followed the logic, but I was just saying if you had something in the water that highlights pee, like my grandma used to do in her pool.
Oh, you and your family, what are you like?
One day, son, you'll be able to do this.
Your granny, by the way.
Whilst you're at it, Michael,
have you
ever had a pet disaster?
Not really disaster. I've had lots of pets who have died in humorous ways.
Under your command?
Yes. When my parents got divorced, see, it's not all good.
No.
My mother got custody of my sister and I, and literally the day after, my dad got 2 dogs, and it was like he replaced us with dogs. So we were.
Did they look like you? Because you've got quite fluffy hair.
A little bit. Well, yeah. He got a Great Dane that was enormous, the biggest dog you've ever seen, called Moose. Aptly named dog, the stupidest dog, and he used to go sit under the table and then stand up and knock the whole table over every day. And it got to the point where we just decided to stop trying to prevent him from doing it. We embraced it, and it would be like a party piece. People would come around, we'd all get drunk, then we'd bring Moose in, and he'd go, "Look how stupid he is!" And he'd get under the table and stand up, and everything would fly everywhere, and we'd all have a riot.
Oh.
Good, I've taken a note of that. Andy, what about you? You must have had some pet disasters.
The only pet disaster I can remember was I was doing an Edinburgh show which featured a fish, and the basic joke of it was in a tank. I then put it in a box. You heard a crack, right, and then all the water came out. The idea was you'd think that the fish was like dead, gone. Then I produced the tank out again, and it was fine, and I just cracked a bit of glass in the bottom with some separate water tank. The trouble was, about 3 days into the Edinburgh Festival, I produced the fish tank, put it in, water broke, all fine, produced it out again, big laugh, sadly dropped it again. It broke for real. The fish, goldfish, went into the audience. It's flapping around underneath. I am speechless for a little while. I grab the front row's pint glass, pour out the beer, somebody else got some water, pour that in, get the fish, whack it in the thing, rush out, put it in the sink, rush back, finish the show, and I got some bloody good reviews for that show, I can tell you.
Paul, what about you?
I did have a rabbit once that ate its babies. I thought that was pretty sick, really.
Have you ever thought it was because you weren't giving it enough food?
What about if it ate itself?
But, lions apparently will eat the young of a female in order to make that female sexually receptive.
Really?
I've tried it. It's never worked for me.
Lucy, how about you?
I've got one which is horrible, but with a happy ending, so don't be sad. My Auntie Geraldine was in the kitchen, and she was wearing stiletto heels because she's quite glamorous, and she always had a handbag to match her shoes and everything. And she stepped back onto the cat, and it was like, yeah, I know, and it went in it because it was Lina.
Did the cat live?
Yay!
Was the stiletto undamaged?
Well, the stiletto had to remain in the cat for the rest of its life. Right, OK, good. I'm glad we cleared that one up. Next question is my question. Does the team think it is lucky for a seagull to crap on your helmet? And in general, is it lucky for any animal to crap on you? Andy?
I don't think so. It's only lucky if you've just had a bet with somebody saying, oh, give us £1,000 if a pigeon's just about to crap on me, and then they crap on you, you're £1,000 up. That's the only time it's any good. It's another bit of nonsense, like so much is magpies. That's the other one, isn't it? They go, oh, yeah, if you see one magpie, it's sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for girl, 4 for boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret not to be told, 8 for a wish, 9 for a kiss, 10 is a bird. When have you ever seen 10 bloody magpies? 8 for a wish, 9 for a kiss, 10 for something that'll never happen. You might as well see a spoon holding a dish. So it's rubbish, isn't it? And 5, right? If you saw, you wouldn't see 5 magpies, would you? But if you did, it could mean you're going to get silver, or you could see it as 2 and 3, which mean you're excited about getting a girl. It's nonsense, isn't it, Vic?
It's magpie confusion. Michael, what about you?
I've never had an animal...
crap on you?
No.
What about a bull?
That is an animal.
As you crouched beneath it,
no,
trying to retrieve that golden
That memory
ring.
is not returning. My baby has... that's not an animal, though. I mean, that would be awful.
Well, are you talking about your baby as in
it's
your...
It's a human. It's a human animal. So my baby, well, obviously, he's the only... You see, I deal with his crap.
Your baby is your young...
He's 18 months old.
Oh, right, not your boyfriend.
He hurt his leg, my baby, and he got something called a toddler fracture, which was terrible. But it was only for it healed very quickly, and he ended up in a plaster cast. This little guy, you know, he's not even 2, and so I felt really bad. I felt like I failed him as a father. Little did I know, later that day, having put the cast on, he did a poo, which is one of those ones that got straight through the nappy, all over his plaster cast, which was on a Sunday, so it couldn't really go anywhere. So he spent a day with a poo-covered plaster cast. It's not a good day in parenting when God's looking down and going, how's McIntyre doing with the parenting? It's like, okay, well, look, this leg, I'm doing great.
So up to now it's looking like bad luck.
Yeah.
But also I would suggest that once it hadn't happened and the bad parenting had gone on, maybe telling a national audience on Radio 2, not your cleverest move there, is it? The social services are knocking on your door tomorrow.
Everything's been cleaned up now.
Is it?
And the cast is on eBay.
Thank God. Paul, what do you say on this matter?
No, I mean, on the few occasions that I've had the misfortune to encounter animal poo, I've not enjoyed it. But it's made me...
No, but does it bring good luck?
No. Lucy,
we'll finish off with you.
I shall round it off by saying that the other day a bird pooed on my head and then I won £1 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a fine way to finish off the evening, so I shall say thank you very much to my guests. And that's the end of Does the Team Think? Well, boys and girls... Well, indeed, boys and girls, I hope you've mesmerised some of the wise suggestions left by our team of erudite scholars. Perhaps you might use them to advance yourself within the company, or you may simply use them to advance a bit of feud with your local matador. I know I did. Goodbye. That was Does the Team Think with Vic Reeves and this week's guests Andy Parsons, Paul Whitehouse, Michael McIntyre and Lucy Porter. It was written by Vic Reeves and produced by Paul Russell. This has been an open mic production for BBC Radio 2.